Hello and welcome to this tutorial on skip logic question type. The skip logic question type allows a set of questions to be viewed based on the response of another question. Users must define some conditional logic on the skip logic question type's calculation statement, which should always return true or false. Otherwise, the entire block of the question is ignored. If the condition is satisfied, then the questions under the yes section will be displayed. If the condition is not satisfied, the questions under no will be displayed. On the currently displayed form, we have integer fields that collect the total number of boys and girls in a class with reference names boys and girls, respectively. We can add a skip logic question to the form. Skip logic questions come with a conditional statement guide that can help users fill in conditional logic without typing in calculation statements themselves. But we will discuss the conditional statement guide at a later point in the video. As stated before, calculation statements on skip logic have to return true or false. This is done by including comparison operations in the calculation statement. Here is a table with some comparison operators. Thus, a statement like underscore boys plus underscore girls will not return true or false. It will return an integer of the total number of students. But a statement like opening brackets underscore boys plus underscore girls closing brackets greater than equal to 50, which uses the comparison operator greater than equal to, will return true if the condition is met and false if the condition is not met. Let's add the conditional statement to our skip logic question. If the condition returns true, the skip logic question under the yes section will be displayed. If the condition returns false, the questions we defined under the no section will be displayed. Let's add a text question type under our yes section. The class total is above the maximum capacity. Does the school provide extra resources, such as more teachers to help? Please enter the details. On the no section of the skip logic question, we shall add a boolean question. Do you think the students in the class have enough resources? You can add as many questions as required under the no or yes section, including nested skip logic questions. We will save and see the skip logic question in action on the data viewer. As you can see, the question we defined under the no section is currently displayed because the current total is 0, and therefore our conditional statement will return false. If we enter values where the total will be 50 or greater, the question under the yes section will now be displayed instead of the one under the no section because our conditional statement will return true. Let's go back to the form builder. The conditional statement guide helps users fill in calculation statements by simply selecting questions and entering values, with the limitation that it can only do so for very simple statements, instead of statements with multiple computations. If we click on Conditional Statement Guide, you can see that the conditional types are grouped as follows. The first group is the numerical values comparison. Operators found in this category include greater than or equal, less than or equal, and not equal. This category allows us to compare numeric fields, i.e., once we select the type of numeric value comparison we want, only the integer question types and real numbers we have defined on our form will appear as an option to select for the base field or comparison field. The base is a stand-in for the value on the left-hand side of the equation, and the comparison is the right-hand side of the equation. You can select a question you have added to the form as the base or the comparison under the field, or simply enter a value under base or comparison value, depending on your individual requirements. As an example, this is a guardian form that collects details of children enrolled under a guardian in a subform. If we wanted to display a certain question, if the child is above 5 years old, we would select greater than as the comparison type. Then under the base field drop-down, you would see all the integer questions on our subform and select child age. Then scroll down to the comparison value, not the comparison field, because we want to compare to the value 5. Under the comparison value, we enter 5. Click the Set condition to close the pop-up and see the resulting calculation statement. As you can see, it sets our left-hand side equation to the reference name used for the child age question, inserts the operator greater than, and then puts 5 on the right-hand side. Under the Yes section, we will define the question that we want to display to children above the age of 5. We will ask, has the child received all the required vaccinations? Using a boolean question type. Then, we go to the No option on our boolean question and add a multi-select question, which vaccines has the child not received yet? And add some options. This question will only be shown if No is selected. Let's see the skip logic question in action in the data viewer. If we enter 6 as one of the children's ages, you can see the question changes to, has the child received all the required vaccinations? Which was defined on the Yes section because 6 is greater than 5. If we enter age 4, you can see that the question, has the child received all the required vaccinations, is no longer displayed because 4 is not greater than 5, and we did not define any questions on the No section of our skip logic question. If we go back to the subform, add another skip logic question, and click the Conditional Statement guide, the next group after numeric comparisons is Check Boolean. If we select Boolean True, it will check if our Boolean question type's answer was yes, and therefore return true, then show the questions under the Yes section. If the answer is no, it will show the questions under the No section. If we select Boolean False, it will check if our Boolean question type's answer was no, and therefore return false, then show the questions under the Yes section. If the answer is yes, it will show the questions under the No section. Let's click on Boolean False. The Boolean question we defined on our subform earlier under the previous skip logic question is displayed. We will select it. As you can see, the Conditional Statement guide sets the Boolean question's reference name on the left side of the equation, adds a comparison operator equals to, and then puts false on the right-hand side of the equation. This statement checks if we selected no on the Has the child received all the required vaccinations question. Under the Yes section of our skip logic question, we shall add the text field question, why has the child not received all required vaccinations? Under the No section, we will define a label question, please attach vaccine completion certificate. And allow users to attach files. If we save and go to the data viewer, you can see that if we enter child age as 7 and select that the child has not received all required vaccines, the question we defined under the second skip logic's Yes question is displayed. If we select that the child has received all required vaccines, the question under the No section of the second skip logic question is displayed. Let's go back to the Guardian form. One of the questions asked on the main form is for the parents to select an occupation field. Let's add a skip logic question on the main form. If we click the Conditional Statement guide, the next group of condition types is the check options. This is used to compare single select and multiple select options. You can choose to check if the option or options are selected by selecting the selected option, or check to see if the option or options are not selected by checking the Not Selected option. For demonstration, suppose we want to find out if guardians who selected teaching are teachers at our school. We will select Selected Options. Then, under the Base field, the only single or multi-select questions on our form will be displayed. We will select Occupation Field as our base field. This will generate the options belonging to that question. We will select Teaching as the option we want to check if the user selected so that we can ask them, "Are you a teacher at our school?" under the Yes section. We can leave the No section without any question added. It will not be displayed. If we save and go to the data viewer, you can see that if we pick the teaching option on the occupation question, we can see that we are asked, "Are you a teacher at our school?" If we go back and deselect it, you can see that the question is not there anymore. Since we did not define a question under the No section, no question is displayed when the calculated statement we defined on Skip Logic returns false. If we go back to the Guardian form, the next condition type group is check for the same or different text. In this category, we compare the text fields. It has Contains Text option and Does Not Contain Text. Let's select Contains Text. On the base field, select the text question you want to compare. Let's select Guardian Name. On the comparison value, input the string you want to compare the base field with. Let's enter Jane. Click on the Set Condition button. As you can see, the calculated statement will be generated and filled in. It checks if there is at least one instance of a match for the text Jane on the Guardian Name text field and returns true or false. You can proceed to add as many questions as you want under one or both sections of the Skip Logic question. Thank you for watching this tutorial. If you have further questions, contact us at support@poimapper.com.